Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome to Outside the Sanctuary.
Yes, we are outside the sanctuary.
And today I am Bill Merck. I'm always Bill Merck, actually.
Yes.
But today I am as
But
well.
next time,
Yes.
maybe he will not be.
Yeah, maybe. You never know. I might be Jack Napier. You
That's
never
right.
know.
Yeah. I remember that name.
Yeah. So you are,
I'm Vince McDonald.
and you are,
Katrina McDonald.
Yes, she is.
and we are talking about finances today.
Money.
Finances. Let the stress level go up.
Yeah.
But I do have 3 stock picks that will make you.
Really?
We're not
Do you
gonna
have a good stock pick?
Well, maybe at the end. We'll hang on.
Maybe
to it
at the end.
Yeah, something
That'll
nice.
be like a little hanger on.
What's a stock pick?
Now this is even better. This is the greatest financing podcast you'll ever listen to.
You know, the company stock.
Uh-huh.
I
When you buy
suggested
you
a
pick
pick one. Yeah, which one to,
Okay.
you know.
Gotcha. Millennial.
Yeah,
Let's
that's all
just
right.
keep it
Well,
relevant.
no,
okay.
but that actually is going to go into some of the topics, I think.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Great.
anyway,
So
welcome.
finances.
Yeah, let's
Katrina, lead us. Where are we going with talk about that?
Well, there's many different ways that you could
There is
start
Finance.
that topic.
see finances. There is saving. There is
Contentment.
earning. There is spending.
Yep.
No, but we're talking
How you should
finances
spend,
tonight.
when you
Yeah,
should spend.
and obviously, as we're talking about finances, as always, we're going to pull in biblical perspectives
Mm-hmm.
here and there, for finances, and folks out there, they, I find when I'm talking with people, I don't usually, when I'm just somebody comes in to talk to me, I don't usually go, let's talk about your finances, because that's that's not a lot of people want to talk about that.
Mhm.
But it will come up often in, for example, pre-marriage counseling.
Mhm.
Just that, hey, here's an area in life that can cause real struggles.
Yeah.
But it can also cause real unity. So let's get ahead of the ball game. And so
Now, how do most people react to that?
well, most people are just looking at I'm not making fun, but I'll
it's
say,
not fun.
so I'll usually ask, so let me ask this. I don't have any right to know your financial information. I'm talking principles here. Let me ask you first, as you're coming together in marriage, we're talking specifically now about people.
Yeah.
Have you worked out a budget together?
Mm.
And I'll see, and a lot of people will just be like, well, we figure she'll pay these bills and I'll pay these bills,
Mhm.
or, they know they're making more money than they need. And so they don't feel like they need a budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where I want to start. I'm going to start. Like, we don't have any outline here, folks.
No, and
I
remember a specific conversation with you when Vince and I were my husband, when Vince and I were first married, and there was a purchase we were talking about, and you said, but is it in the budget?
yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what the budget is. I don't want to know what the budget is. And you go, but there's so much comfort in knowing that it's in the budget and that it works with what you're doing.
So I'm a big, people like, we've got, what was it? Larry Burkett was a finance name. Dave Ramsey, a lot of people. My finance guy was Leo McDonald, my dad. And I learned finances as a kid when I said to him, Dad, I'd like to have a wagon, to serve my papers rather than just walking around with my newspaper bag over my shoulder. He said, well, how you do that is you figure out what the wagon costs, and if the wagon costs $20, and then you want to put $2 a week in an envelope in your drawer, and in 10 weeks you'll be able to get the wagon. And I said, oh, the wagon now, right?
Right.
So he said, well, that's another area called loan. I can loan you $20 to get the wagon, but then you have to give me $2
Oh, I like
every week.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
I thought you were going to say $2 in interest. No, did he hit you up for $22? At
But
the
what
end,
I
he
mean
was
is,
like, hey,
it was setting my
money.
dad was a big person to set your attention to a budget. Now, so the reason I think, and anybody, I've always said this, I say this to couples when I'm sitting with them. I'm going to share with you my thoughts, and you're allowed to say no, because it's your life.
Right.
I just believe that it's beneficial. So, like, for example, if Vince said, here's our budget, as opposed to if the two of you sit down, I don't know what you did, and say, like, all right, let's look at how much do we want to spend on Christmas?
Mhm.
People, because most people look at me like budget is like your apartment, your house, whatever, your car, your insurance. And I'll say,
Right.
well, how much do you want to spend eating out each month?
Mhm.
And if you sit down and go, oh, well, this is neat. This is something we're doing together.
Mhm.
And I say, make your budget with what you want.
Yeah.
When you get to the end, you'll find out whether you make enough money or not for that budget. And now
Right.
you got two ways to go.
Mhm.
Right.
Either make more money or lower your
Or
budget.
Cut back.
Yeah,
Right.
if you can. And so I'm a big believer in literally saying, okay, like this is, we have to put it. I'm going to use round numbers. We get our mortgage $1,000 a month, so we have to put $250 a week into the mortgage account,
Mhm.
and that's 4 times 4 is $1,000. And the nice thing about a budget is you now end up with 4 weeks during the year
Right.
where that $250 is free money.
Right.
Mm.
Okay.
Mhm.
But if you build your budget that way and you build it on, an insurance and this and this and that, and you put in there all that you, and each paycheck, if you get paid every week, great. If you get paid twice a month,
Mhm.
well then instead of putting 250 in, you got to put 500 because
Yeah.
you got to. But the point is that ideally, if you're able to, apart from catastrophes, you never have a normal bill that you can't pay.
Mhm.
Right.
So when we were first married, Greta and I, early in our marriage, we were married, and we knew another young couple, and we knew, just generally speaking, they were making as much as we were,
Right.
if not more.
Yeah.
And at one point, we were like, "Yo, you guys want to go out this Friday night?" And they were like, "We can." Our car insurance bill came due, and I was almost literally like, "What are you talking about?" Like, well, we pay it every 6 months, and it came due, and it wiped me out. And I said, "Well, you knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Weren't you putting one 1/6, whatever,
Yeah.
like
However much it was,
What-
put that aside.
so that and the thing is, when you do a budget, in my mind, you set that all up. This goes into this.
Mhm.
This goes into this. For me, back then, we were using a book with paper.
Mhm.
And so I had all these accounts. I could tell you, at the time, Greta would buy her makeup or stuff at Drug Emporium. Oh, our Drug Emporium account has $72 in it,
So you did like a cash system.
Yeah. And at the
Yeah.
end, you had a page called cash. That's our money. I never cared what my checking account said. Somebody said, what's in your checking account? It's meaningless what's in my checking account. The only thing that matters is what's in my cash account, because that's the only stuff I can spend,
Mm.
unless we're going out to eat, and then we go tap our going out to eat account.
Mm.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's just so. And I'm talking a lot, but I
Yeah.
have this.
You're supposed to.
No, this is I'm excited about, because I counseled a couple years ago. Not part of our church family anymore. Years ago,
Good.
and they had done well back in the day. We're going back a ways, and they'd come to me. They were having disagreements. It was affecting their marriage, their financial problems. And I said, well, let's. If you will allow me, will you let me look at your budget? You don't have to, but if they said sure. So I said, well, let's. How much is your rent? How much is your car insurance? How much is your car payments? How much do you think that you guys want to spend going out to eat? How much you're going to is Christmas? Is it a big deal? Is it not a big deal?
Right.
Like these are all part of finances.
Right.
Right.
And at the end, I said, okay, now you've been married for 3 years with this budget, with this mindset. Where's your $60,000? And they were like, what are you talking about? I said, well, you've been bringing home $20,000 a year, more than that budget needs.
Mhm.
Right.
Where'd it go?
Yeah.
They're like, well, we don't know.
Yeah.
And that's why I think even if you're out there listening and you are doing well and you're like, we don't need a budget. We know. I think it's good to be able to go, wow,
Where is our money?
this is where our money's going.
Yeah.
And And it leads to another thing, because if you happen to be blessed to be in that category, there are some people who the more they make, the bigger their life is going to be.
Mhm.
Now, there's nothing wrong with that, getting like a bigger house or a boat or a place
Yeah.
down the shore. But I think for believers, at some point you have to, in your heart, sit and go, okay, now how much is enough for me,
Mhm.
where I eventually look and go, we're bringing in a lot more than our budget. We need to start adding some charitable things to our budget.
Mm.
We need to give to Compassion International and help a needy child. We need to, help our brothers and sisters in Christ, over in the Sudan who are under persecution. And now it's anyhow, it's exciting.
It's funny you say that, because it's funny you mentioned Dave Ramsey, because I was listening to his podcast one day, and someone called him and they said, we are such and such thousands of dollars in debt, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, not including his house. And we want to know, is it okay if we cut our tithe? I think their budget allowed, it was a large amount of money. The guy made a lot of money. Okay.
Mhm.
And he said, well, that's only 10% of your income. Your problem is the other 90, what you're spending the rest on.
Yeah.
So you don't need to cut your tithe account. You need to look at the other 90% of what it is that you're spending your money on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, there could be time. Listen, I don't mind saying, that there were times when raising kids and
Yeah.
financial,
It was definitely
what
he was not
I
lean
typically had
financially,
wanted
so-
to give to the Lord, like that week, I just
Mhm.
literally was like, I don't have it. Like,
Yeah.
The church isn't going to take a credit card.
Right.
So,
Although, hey, in the
Now
future,
Entirely, I think you can.
I think you probably can.
well,
So I'll be honest. I've always been bad with the budget. I've always been bad with money.
So me too. Yeah.
I'm not good with it.
Yeah.
I'm a commission only salesperson.
Yeah.
So when I need money, I'll just make another sale. Like
Yeah.
that's literally how
This is true. Yeah.
listen, that's a whole other. I
Yeah.
give you credit, brother.
Yeah.
You got to have the right mindset to be a commission only
yeah.
Mhm.
salesperson, because I was a mortgage guy before I was ever a pastor, and it was all commission, but you got to draw,
Yeah, I don't get a draw.
and at least the draw was being given to you, but like I was making enough
Yeah,
commission.
That's a weak salesperson.
I was-
No, I'm just-
No, but I was making commission to cover the draw and being like, oh, yeah. And when I got offered another sales job, I was like, is it all? Now I know commission is where you can make good money.
Yeah, it's all risk, all reward.
But for
Mhm.
me, there was a sense of too much anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
I have kids at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think I eventually took a job that was like, here's your salary
Mhm.
plus 5% commission. I was like, okay,
Mhm.
that's,
I
it's
can
like-
do that.
it's like,
It's like getting a tip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not me.
That makes total
No,
sense. So
but-
what is it that you like about the all risk, all reward?
Because you can
Of-
make real money when, just
Yeah.
it's just a fun way of living life, I guess. I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
I like the anxiety of it.
Mm.
I would prefer to go in there and be like,
And-
okay, here we go.
But that's,
Today
you-
I'm making a sale.
and the fact
Okay.
that you're
So you
able,
takes
yes,
a certain
I'm
personality
saying
to
that
be able
about
to do that.
it.
Yeah.
It really takes a certain, a lumberjack can go, well, I need more wood. And so today I'm going to cut down 3 more trees. He
Mhm.
knows they're there and he
Mhm.
knows he can cut them down. But in sales, like you're going into these things, and I think it's great that you have
Yeah.
that confidence in you. But the
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
fact is, budgeting
Yeah, I
is
could.
budgeting can bring peace. It can bring peace. Now, it's a safety net too. So when your husband was a little boy, and it was just Greta and I, and our desire was for Greta to be home
Mhm.
with him, and we did the budget, and it was our budget was more than what I was bringing home. So then we went at the budget again. We're going to do, how about this, how about that? But we did it together, Greta and I, in the sense of for her to be able to have input. So she would be like, well, I don't think we need to go out. I don't think we need to buy a pizza every Friday night. I was saying, well, I want that.
Oh, your son would not be happy if we didn't have a pizza night. So.
So budgeting for me and it'd be interesting to think, how many people out there would land at different places. But
Mhm.
budgeting for me, food was
Well, it's
Oh, that's a
their
big one.
priorities.
clothes. I
You're-
could care less. So
Right.
Greta will say to me, "You haven't gotten any new clothes in 15 years. I don't want any new clothes.
Yeah.
I
Just
want
had chicken parm
She
from my
had
favorite restaurant.
Panzerati and I want chicken
Oh,
parm and I want
Panzerati.
Did you say that last week?
what's it? What?
Is that why you're getting new pants soon?
Oh, yeah. Listen, these,
I like it.
yeah.
You had them in high school.
I always say to her, look, if they were high school, they wouldn't be fitting them anymore. But
You wore them baggy back
but
then.
these clothes, to me, if a shirt is good for 20 years, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
I agree.
Well,
Totally agree.
so on that with whatever,
You-
and again, I'm
I'm not putting Greta down. I'm saying that
Your son is more of a he likes to buy, he's
Yeah.
trendy.
Yeah. I see the packages sometimes that but
but
I'm
what,
just the
what
wife.
I'm going to
I'm
say
saying.
is,
yeah.
but
I was going to say, like Greta, to her credit,
yeah,
and this is part of the unifying factor of a budget, that be willing to talk about together. Greta would be like, if I said, "What's for dinner?" she'd be like, "Well, yeah, I could just eat a yogurt in here or something."
Yeah.
And I'd be like,
I'm the
"Oh,
same
no,
way.
I need a meal."
Same way. I can relate to that. But Vince wants like your son.
A
He
meal.
wants like
Yeah.
a meal with.
Well, hold on a second. He wants the food and the clothes. That makes him a little
But
different
he's
than.
well.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Vince,
Vince,
we
not
love
picking on
you.
I'm not
No,
picking on you.
he's great.
so which goes to a point of buying again in sales, buying products of value.
Mm-hmm.
So you can buy a shirt that's going to last you 20 years, or you can go buy a cheapo shirt.
$10 shirt at Target.
Right.
And well, that's not bad. $10 shirts. I mean, it's pretty much my wardrobe.
Mm,
Well, actually, mine are all
that makes sense.
bands.
That tracks.
But no, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But again, I live in the 90s as far as my clothing.
Yeah.
And when Jesus said, "Where your treasure is, that's where your heart is,"
Uh-huh.
obviously he's speaking about valuing eternal things. So you're giving to the work of the church because God has empowered the church. If I didn't believe that Jesus said, "I will build my church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it," I wouldn't be giving. And what I mean is that it's not just I'm giving to the church because they make me feel good or
Right.
Yeah.
this is God's institute for spreading the gospel. Now there's many other good places to give,
Mhm.
but I'm giving with a purpose, and it becomes, I forget what launched me on this, but it becomes a sense of this is one of my values. Now, Jesus wasn't necessarily speaking about our differing values of food and clothing, but I think there's a point that making a budget lets us together determine what is it we value.
Right.
Do we value Christmas more than we value
Birthday.
vacation?
Vacations.
Yeah.
Do we value cars, nice cars,
Mhm.
more than a house?
Right.
I literally worked with somebody years ago who lived in a neighborhood I wouldn't want to live in, but came in to work with this car that was 3 times the amount of my car. And I said, "Why wouldn't it be
Yeah. Why
saving
wouldn't you
to
want to
get-" He
get out?
said this to me: "You can live in your car, you can't drive your house." You're right.
What?
I
You're-
once
you-
went into a house. It was a bad neighborhood. It was awful. And the house was like falling apart. And he decided to buy the HVAC system because, this was going to be the first big purchase he made for his house. And he was all excited about it. And after he bought it, he said, "Hey, you want to go out in my garage?" And again, this is ransacked house, 8 Harleys.
Oh
And he was just like, "Don't you love them?" And they were all like spotless.
Right.
And he valued the Harley.
Obviously.
And
Wow.
he was
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, this is what I
That's
like.
what he's
I don't
into.
care about the house.
Wow.
I care." And I was like, "Wow,
Wow.
I
Wow.
care about cars or
Yeah.
Harleys.
anything like, or I mean, I think they're cool. Don't get me wrong, but what about with like the value of like, so as I've gotten more money, my tastes have gone up as far as
Mm.
food wise.
Mhm.
So like, I don't want to eat at an Applebee's anymore because I would rather eat at like Eddie V's or something that like, if I'm going to eat it, why not? No, but I'm
Applebee's
saying-
or Eddie V's.
well, I mean, maybe Eddie
Yeah.
V's is a little bit of a far.
Since I have no idea what Eddie V is.
It's a great steakhouse. So like a real
Wait,
steakhouse.
is it above Capitol Grill?
above
Is it-
Capitol.
It is?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, wait,
I
Ruth
believe-
Christ. I've heard of that.
Ruth
yeah,
Chris.
Yeah,
Chris?
yeah, it's Chris.
Oh, it's not Christ.
Ruth's Chris.
Ruth's Chris.
Ruth's Chris.
Okay.
And you can tell where you
And
eat.
then there's a that.
Oh,
Listen,
no.
I would be going to Ponderosa if they were still around. I love
Right.
Ponderosa. Oh my
Absolutely.
goodness! You get
And
you get to see. There it is. I want that. See that picture? That's what I want.
There you
The
go.
last time I ate in Ponderosa, or I think it was a place like Ponderosa, I was on a road trip in like 95
Mm.
and it was out Midwest, and I didn't realize how slow everybody talks out there. And I was like, yeah, I'll have the steak or whatever it was, and I'll have that medium. I'll have a side of green beans, baked potato with butter on the side. They're like, I got steak. How do you want that cooked? It's like, medium. Do you want anything else with that?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, green beans, baked potato, butter on the side. And you want green beans? Anything else with that? We went through and like baked potato,
We're gonna have to
butter
do
on
an
the
episode.
side.
We're gonna have to do an episode on restaurants that are
Oh,
no
yeah.
longer around that you wish were.
Oh, I agree.
Because I just started thinking through a list of things, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be taking us off track here.
Well, it's okay.
But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with as God gives you more, you have it's for a believer, I don't think a believer has to say, all right, we've all got to eat the lowest.
Right.
you know,
Because it's a
there's
spiritual
nothing wrong
thing.
with saying,
3D.
yeah, nothing wrong
Yeah.
with saying, hey, I the Lord's blessed me with more. I just think the scripture verse that says, to whom much is given, much will be required.
Right.
Mhm.
That the more you get, the
Yeah.
more you need to be stopping to think about those who have much less than you.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
And but a budget, that's why I go back to the
We're
budget.
going back to the budget.
No, the budget that's what
Allows
the
you.
budget allows.
I'm telling you.
budget,
The conversation, the budget's a beautiful thing.
it is. Budget is a beautiful thing.
I've
So
always
we're
been
gonna
scared of the
title-
budget because I don't want to see it.
You don't.
I
make
agree with you. I
sure
just want to make sure.
But now,
But again,
we are-
I don't take care of our
Right.
budget. I'll be honest. That's all Lisa.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you anything.
When was the last time you paid cash for something at a store? I'm sorry. I
Well,
didn't mean to
you
cut you off.
sorry.
I might pay
Anything.
cash for something in the store.
Yeah. Well, when you do self checkout, you can't pay cash because right
I
now,
can't think of a time
Yeah.
I've paid cash lately. I just went to Vermont and I think I might have paid.
Do
like,
some place. Well, there's some places that are like around here, cash only. Like, right?
Ooh,
Tacanelli's, isn't that?
oh yeah, that's right. They are. I'm doing
Okay, but most places are.
And I love Tacanelli's, so I
Yeah.
didn't mean that in any negative way.
Bill-
No,
delicious.
that's great, and I paid cash when I would go there.
yeah.
No, but I always have backup cash just in case something like
You
that
do.
happens.
Yeah.
But when you go over to the stadiums now,
Mhm.
any of the stadiums,
They
they're
have
all
like cards.
only
like-
cards. You can't even
Really?
do cash. You can't even pay parking in cash anymore over at the stadium.
So I want to tell you what happened to me because we're on.
Oh, this is
I'm doing
exciting.
a grocery. Not really.
Yeah.
I'm doing cash for groceries for the month of September because I'm trying to be better at budgeting myself with groceries because I can go a little crazy because I like to buy nicer, cleaner foods. Anyway,
That's good.
so yeah. So my grocery budget day, go in to get the cash. Bank doesn't open till 9. Okay, I'm gonna go to the store. I went to the store first, realized I forgot to get my cash.
Oh.
I have a credit card in my wallet, but I'm sticking to this cash procedure.
Huh.
Okay. Go back to the bank, not open. Go back to the store. Okay. I only have $55. That's all I can buy because I'm not using my credit card.
I like
And
it.
I stand up there at the cashier like I have never left the house. I'm like, it's 31. Okay. Here's a quarter, a nickel, because I'm not used to paying with cash.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what just happened to
have
me
time.
like 2 months ago.
Mhm.
I was in a line and I tried to pick the fast line, but then there was some elderly woman in front of me.
It was probably me
No,
paying in cash.
she wasn't. She was paying with a check. I almost lost my ever loving mind. It's like, you are crazy. This
Yeah.
is 2025. Put that check away. Put
surprised
that
they
check
even
away.
check.
They did.
I
The
don't-
cashier held it up and then scanned it through something. And I was like, oh, you gotta be
Aw.
kidding me. Now,
That's cute.
I talk bad about, I don't eat at Eddie
I
V's
wanna
every
say-
night, but I
Okay.
also, like my grocery, like we go to BJ's and we go to
Oh.
Walmart. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, or we go to ShopRite because they have barrel pickles and I like barrel
Mm.
pickles.
Yeah.
But other than that,
That's a very odd fact to know about you. That's
oh, there you go. I love a barrel
It's
pickle.
funny you say that because they used to always be the Jewish pickles in a barrel. And
Yeah.
I've been in
Why's it
some
gotta be
stores
Jewish?
recently and said, where do you have, what's that?
Why is it got to be Jewish?
Because they're called Jewish pickles.
I thought they were called kosher.
No, they're called Jewish pickles.
Why do you always have to make
I
things
grew up with the big,
complicated?
we never were like
Yeah.
from drugstore. It was,
You know, little Jewish pickle.
it was the Jewish pickles were
You turned into an insult.
Yeah, it is.
were much desired.
I told everybody when I went over to Israel.
I used to just have lunch sometimes during my. I would buy a Jewish pickle and a bag of Ruffles potato chips and just slice the pickle and put it in between the
Oh.
two big chips.
There you
Oh,
And then you gave Greta garbage. Greta garbage. I can't even say it because of eating yogurt. for dinner.
well,
And you're like, oh, well, what did you have for lunch, Vince? Well, I sliced up a little pickle and then.
you know, we have gotten ourselves on the same page with that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But
And so
You know,
is Vince. Vince will scrap it in the kitchen with me and fix
the
himself a
cash
sandwich,
thing is
whatever
good
we have
in
to
that,
do.
I
in
like
that it has a hard limit to it. But I do want to say this,
I know that now.
and I know my opinion is only, nobody. If there's a disagreement between me and Dave Ramsey, 1/10 of the population,
Listen,
1/10 of
We're doing
1%.
this for a
But
month
my point is,
or two. Just
I
track it.
think he and others, understandably, are negative on credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
Understandable because of our lack of self control.
right.
I think credit cards are a wonderful gift because the company is saying, we will give you this money for no interest.
Mm-hmm.
We will keep all of your records for you. We will do all of your accounting.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is pay us on this date, and it's not going to cost you a penny.
Mhm.
I think he's great
I
for
agree.
people with low self control,
Right.
but you need credit in order to buy a house, to buy a car, to do those
Right.
kind of things, unless you're going to pay cash. And if you have the $350,000 to $500,000 to buy a house now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're not doing that on cash.
Right.
Right.
I mean, few of us can do that.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I'm not saying few of us, like I can do that.
No,
I,
right.
I can't do that. But I'm saying,
But you're going
very-
to have to go make some more sales.
I don't know why I'm doing this podcast. I should be
You
out
should be
selling.
selling
I really
air
should.
conditioner
Please.
right now.
If anybody needs an air conditioner, I
That's
need
right.
the money. No, but with as far as buying things, you need credit in today's world.
Right.
Mhm.
Back in 1999, I made $7.25 an hour and was able to purchase a house. Ain't happening in
Right.
2025.
Right.
Inflation is so high,
Yeah.
you need credit.
Yeah.
And, you know,
And it's also hard to live in those little Lego homes.
it really is. I mean, nowadays, you could probably buy a house for the same amount.
Oh, we live in Playmobil land.
I love how you know it's Playmobil. Like, did they have Playmobil when you were a kid or just your grandkids?
We've got barrels
They're
of
up to their
them.
eyeballs in Playmobil.
Yeah, but that's grandkids, right?
Yes.
Did you have it when you were a kid?
No.
No.
We were
okay.
kids, we Cowboys and Indians.
he had a
Yeah,
rock
Army man.
and a
Yeah.
Coke can.
Yeah. We we had had
No
rubber
wonder your
bands.
budget.
We had rubber bands. And that was the rubber bands. Rubber band.
I'm not
Everybody-
too far off. Rubber band.
Everybody had a whole bunch of rubber bands because you serve newspapers and you fold them. But the rubber, you just set up anything and then you just sit there for an hour shooting it, knocking it over with rubber bands.
Oh,
Knock these,
it's cool.
which leads me to point to our shelves here and just some of the things that we can
Yeah.
hit with rubber bands on the shelf.
No, we're not hitting anything with the shelves.
But-
Anyway,
He
I
pulls
used
a
to have a
rubber
rubber
band out of
band
his
gun.
pocket.
It was wooden. I got it. And Mark Johnson and I, we watched Young Guns 2. And so they set up on the table. He said, "Can you shoot out that candle?" There was 3 candles, and you shoot them out with 1 bullet or 2 bullets. And he shoots the bottom of the candelabra, and it turns, and then he's able to shoot out the 3 candles all at one time. So Mark and I had
Wow.
our rubber band gun, and we shot it at night, and we shot the I had a 3 candle thing, fell over on the table, caught the table on fire. So So, we had to go out and get a new table, which wasn't in the budget.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, did you use your credit card?
No, it was
Oh.
my mother. I was putting her into debt. Speaking of, we're going to go to break.
Okay.
We will be
Break
right
time.
back.
Thanks.
Welcome to Emmanuel Baptist Church, where our focus has been building strong lives in Jesus Christ since 1925, right here in Maple Shade, New Jersey. With 2 Sunday services at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., you can choose the time that works best for you. And if you have children, our Greenhouse Kids Ministry and Nursery are available during the 11 a.m. service, so you can worship without distractions. But that's not all. On Sunday mornings at 10 a.m., we offer Sunday school classes for all ages. And if you're looking for a midweek pick-me-up, we have a variety of events on Wednesday nights. For more information on all of our programs and events, visit our website at ibclife.org. Follow us on social media and check out our weekly bulletin. And there's one more way to stay connected with us. Download our Church Center app. With this convenient app, you can stay up to date on all of our events and register for programs. Emmanuel Baptist Church, building strong lives in Jesus Christ.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back.
Hello there.
Hello.
Yes. So
So have you
one thing I want to talk
subscribed?
about is budgets.
Oh, jeez. Really? Oh, good. We haven't talked about that yet. Yeah.
My father-in-law loves a good budget.
Isn't it more than finances?
We're not actually, this podcast isn't about finances, it's about budgets. That's all it is. Just literally, you're going to sit the entire podcast and listen to us.
Budgets, they're
Rant.
good.
Well,
You should see them.
Do you have anything else besides the budget over there? Are we going to talk stocks? Are we going to talk about 401ks? Or because I never had a 401k until I married Lisa, and she's like, "What do you mean you don't have a 401k?" And I was like, "I never chimed into it." So she's the one that set up my 401k through my ADP app.
Listen, it's funny you
and-
say that when you meet some of those kind of things I say to like couples, like, look, if you're headed toward marriage, like you got to ask each other questions about
Right.
finances, because
Mhm.
I sat with a couple years ago, and I said, now hopefully you guys have talked to each other about you're getting married, so when you get married, your debt is shared debt. Like
Everything is
kind of know what
together.
you're carrying
Yeah.
into the marriage, and it wasn't school debt. We're doing.
Yeah.
And the guy looked at the girl and he's like, well, I'm not sure what you owe, but I owe. And he owed a credit card debt that was over $20,000. She just was like, what?
Yeah, I brought
I
a
just
different
remember-
kind of baggage into my marriage.
I just remember going, how about I'm going to do this? How about I walk out of the room for 5 minutes and you guys just talk about that? But look, we can get over this. We can get through this. We can chart a course. But like it
Did
was.
they get married? Oh,
They're happily married today.
So what do you say to a couple who can't come to an agreement on their finances and the way they will work?
Well, I think that I say to them, you can but if somebody's part of your role sometimes in counseling is to be, in essence, an arbitrator or arbiter or whatever the term would be, but to basically sit there and say, Jim, Mary here she's given up this and this and this, and you haven't given up anything. Like, come on, you got it. You got it. There's got to be but I think that sense of that being able to go, well, look, the reality is we can't be spending over our budget.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make this change, and it's always going to be best if it's
Together.
agreed upon. If it's So, for example, even like early in our marriage, we when we didn't have any children, and Greta and I were both working in our first year, and we just sought, if able, to be able to, like, we lived in a very inexpensive rental thing, and we didn't buy my car had been paid off, and my grandfather gave us an old vehicle and those kind of things. And
Mm-hmm.
all of I'm not saying this way it has to be, but
Mm-hmm.
for us, all of our furniture was like used. Somebody gave us, we just thought let's set aside money and save. So this is more part of financing than budgeting, that I get really excited about saving money. Now, the funny thing is, for the bulk of my children's growing up until they were out of high school, we had no savings.
Yeah.
We had we had made a choice for Christian school,
Right.
whatnot,
Yeah.
But
You were
But-
using your funds
but I
for
was
your life.
enjoying that first year. Wow, we're saving money. One day I'm talking to Grant, I'm going, look at this, look what we have. And I'm thinking, be that coach that kind of gets her excited about, your role, like AJ Brown only catching one pass. Anyhow, but that's another subject. And the
I'm
coach is
guessing-
gone.
And that was the first week.
And the coach is all
I'm guessing
gone.
that's football.
Yes, and the coach,
Okay.
he's our greatest, he's our best receiver. And the coach
He were-
went
he
out of his
did
way
it.
to say, what a great
Okay.
game he played, because he only caught one pass and you got it.
Ah,
But my point is, I was saying to Greta, look what we're doing, we're saving. And eventually she's basically I could tell she's saying, I don't like our budget anymore, because I agreed on it in the beginning, but it's suffocating me. I want to be able to, and I had to learn that more important than keeping our savings growing, take Greta out this weekend to the mall and let's get something,
Yeah.
like, give her a sense of, I don't mean like she's was needy, but that
No.
sense of
no, yeah.
that us together, it can't be me going, this is the part that you need to be excited about. There
Mhm.
has to be a sense of, all right, well, what's the use of
What are you excited for?
sacrificing your
So,
So-
yeah.
So with that though, like sometimes you just gotta enjoy life. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying don't go above your
I
means
agree.
or anything like that.
Right.
But, with some of these, pundits that say like, hey, save all your money now,
Don't
do
do
it in
anything.
retirement.
Yeah.
We don't know what tomorrow brings.
right.
So I'm not saying again, go out and blow your money,
Mhm.
but you can enjoy life. It's
And-
okay. Like I love concerts. I love going to see concerts. So I'm going to invest my own time and life, and that's what I enjoy.
Where your
Where
money,
other
where your,
people would
that's
be
where your
like,
heart is, and there's
"Are
nothing
you-"
wrong with you saying, I enjoy that more than putting my money over here in this.
Right.
I think that I think there's value in a family setting. Be careful, anyhow. To talk.
wow,
to
were you
talk-
disclaiming yourself?
To talk
This is
about,
great.
yeah, I was telling myself to talk
Be
about.
careful.
So, like, Katrina would know in the family, like, that
Yeah.
sometimes we will verbalize to our kids, we are at a point in life where we're better off than we ever were.
Mhm.
So, this is a point in life where we're going to try and help you or treat you more.
Right.
But know this, there's probably going to be nothing later. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like, in other words,
Well,
my,
and I see that a lot.
it used to
in-
be people would want to save and leave it for their kids.
Right.
I just watched 80% of the people that live into their 80s and 90s, their money is gone.
Right.
Yeah, it's just and if they end up needing a residential care,
They
I
don't
mean,
have it.
you're what I mean is you're talking about. We joked about it because when Greta's parents were in the in
Home.
a care setting, the money we were paying monthly, I said to Greta, me, you, and both of them could cruise the Caribbean all year for less money. So why don't we just put them on a cruise ship with us? We'll take care of them.
Just take them around.
We're making
They-
money by
They probably
cruising.
have a better time.
Yeah, but like you wait. I'm saying like it's
Yeah.
it
It's
goes
expensive.
fast.
Care is
There is.
expensive. Life is expensive.
I think I think everybody's allowed to be different. Like some people were like, hey, we worked, my parents didn't give us anything. It's
I think that is a moving
it really is.
cultural thing. I don't think that that's happening that much anymore.
Yeah. And it's where I don't mean this like St. Vincent. I mean, I find more joy seeing, blessing my kids and the grandkids
Hmm.
Right.
than if I put money and made a payment for a truck. Now, you
Mhm.
truck owners, I'm not saying anything. You have every right. I'm saying
it's
Yeah.
what
it's where I find.
Yeah, because you still have the same car. How long have you had your car? Just
That's a great car. It's a great.
yeah,
car.
I agree.
It's a Camry.
Yeah,
Come on.
it's still going strong. Had it for a long time.
like right above Lexus, I think, is
Yeah.
the Toyota Camry.
is it?
Yeah. I have had it for a long time. And the funny thing is, so you know,
Oh, that's
finances,
exciting.
when I went to get this car, I was going to get a Corolla because Deanna had the Corolla
Uh-huh.
and she was getting 45 miles to the gallon or
Wow.
whatever. And I thought, all right, I'll go get a Corolla. I saw this Camry and
A little
It-
nicer.
the wood paneling,
Well.
which probably is, people today don't care about, but the nice, nicer. And it
Mm-hmm.
had, you could hit auto for the air
Oh.
conditioning.
It's got leather seats, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
heated seats.
There you go.
And
See?
and I'm sitting in the car and the salesman's sitting next to me and he says, like, so what else can I say to you about this? I said, you just have this right now. It's just a conversation between me and God. So you just got to sit there for a while because
Yeah.
I'm talking to God about this and asking him, am I allowed to get more car than I came here for
Yeah.
just for my pleasure?
Right.
And
And the salesman's crying in the corner because I've been there. I'm like, I'm praying that you decide to buy this car.
Well, it was his day.
But like,
I could have been like, only the Corolla but I think I paid another $30 a month.
and it was,
But I
their
was
money.
like, there's no need to do it. It
Right.
just was like you said.
But also, some of the people, the big named people that we've mentioned tonight, who, yeah, they're worth millions, but they also live like they're worth millions too.
Yeah.
They could still be living in a tiny house with no extra things, no
Right.
trips. They could still be living that way.
That's
But of
true.
course, that they don't.
Well, one of the things I wanted to bring up when you're talking about kids, and I'm not talking about your kids because we had them on a couple podcasts ago and they were awesome.
They were
Mhm.
phenomenal.
They were.
Yeah.
They were
My
great.
favorite one.
Uh,
That's my
it-
favorite
it-
one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was my favorite because you guys weren't on. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I've seen real families in my sales, in life, and everything. Families now fighting about that will and that
Mhm.
money
Yeah.
Mhm.
because everybody wants a piece.
Mhm.
Everybody wants a little bit of
Yeah.
a piece of that
Yeah.
pie. And,
Which hits one other item.
oh, this is exciting.
One other item.
This is great. This is riveting.
No, because again, folks, the views expressed are only those of myself. But we'll sometimes be dealing with a 85-year-old man and an 85-year-old woman who their spouses have passed and they want to come together and get married. And often I will find myself saying, hey, when it comes to your finances, just remember, for the last 60 years, you've been your son's father and you've been your daughter's, mother or son's mother. It's tough for them if you're going to all of a sudden say, in other words, maybe we can join you together, but how can we keep your finances separate? Like, in other words, you hit different points in life.
see what you're saying.
With 85 and 85, I get that, and that
Yeah.
makes sense. But it also makes sense when the man's 85 and the woman's 32.
Yeah, that would,
Yeah, you'd be
that's a
like,
factor.
"Ah."
And
Yikes.
Oh, like that doesn't happen.
yeah.
Oh, no, I know it. Yeah.
Wait,
But
that was a class. And I'm trying to think. Anyhow,
but there's a lot of like, you can go in, and I hope nobody's like taking our financial advice as far as like, oh, this is exactly how I'm living life.
past gains do not guarantee future.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're not no Jim Cramer up in here or anything. This is a must buy. But I think like, you see all these, I actually went to a customer's house and he wanted to buy a heater. And this was several years ago. And when he fills out the finance loan document, we have a very good rate. Like we have a very good rate. We have a very good everything and an approval rating. We have a good approval rating. And they have to type in what they do for a living. They actually stopped that, but they used to have to type in what they did for a living.
Mhm.
And he typed in financial advisor and he got credit rejected. He didn't have enough money. They
No.
said, your credit score's too low. And I'm thinking,
Wow.
and he's somebody's financial advisor. They're going
Wow.
to Scala and going like, what should I do with my money? And he's like, just give it to me. I don't have it.
Well, it's like back in the day when I was a mortgage rep, and I don't know how much the industry's changed. And
Were you
It was-
renting at the time,
what's
or
that?
did you have a house?
what's that?
Did you have
I had a house. But we basically had this no documentation loan that if you put down 30%, you don't have to, in other words, the loan was clearly written for people who were buying a $300,000 house and said to the IRS, last year we made $17,000. So what I mean is like,
Oh, I see.
so they would never, based on what they were telling the IRS, they would never qualify for the loan.
Right.
But the
But they had the
reality
cash.
is, we would be
Yeah.
like, well, here's the deal. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
If you put down 30%, it's no documentation. You don't have to show how much you made. Now, again, I have
Wow.
no idea what happened to that, but it's part of the world of
I'm sure it
finances.
still happens.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, for sure.
but hey, remember this, believer, child of God. You have an inheritance in store for you in heaven that is as Scripture says is reserved. It's untouchable.
Mhm.
And remember that no matter how well you plan here, as Jesus said, there's only one place where you can store up treasures where they cannot be vulnerable. And that's
Mhm.
eternal life. And so I think
So is that why you picked this topic? Because I think that's a great point.
yeah,
Mhm.
But is that why you picked the topic?
well, part of it just that I think finances are a huge part of our daily
oh,
lives.
everything.
Mhm.
Everything. But
Yeah.
remember, we have lived in a country. Say what you want about America. We have lived in a country that is so stable. I mean,
Yeah.
you just don't hear of countries our age that people, the presidency gets passed from one party to the next, and you're not slaughtering a bunch of people, and
Mhm.
and the interest doesn't go up to 300. I mean, inflation 300%.
Right.
We have lived with such stability that it's tempting for us to forget that
Mm-hmm.
the economic system.
Be wise.
Yeah. We thank God for it.
Mhm.
We're part of it, and you want to be good stewards in it.
Yeah.
But there's a vulnerability that your security better be in the Lord and in His care.
So
Yeah.
what with the stability of our country and everything, we look at like the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ.
I
all
was
that
just about
stuff.
to ask.
Okay, well then
Go
yes,
ahead.
that's where I
No,
want to go.
you finish
I
it.
want to go into buying stocks on the day of the crash. Like,
Mm.
is it,
Well,
or is it okay?
Yeah.
Like I
don't
have
think-
a portfolio and
yeah. So
You have a portfolio?
think
yeah,
I
it's
think
not-
that,
it's not, don't. I mean,
a lot-
don't.
well,
It makes me
people will
sound like
say
real important.
a lot of
but-
people will
I
say
know the truth.
a lot of people
Yeah.
will say I'm not in the stock market.
Yeah.
The reality is they just don't know that they are. Like
Oh.
that they're so. For example,
We brought
their-
you on,
their
Katrina,
funds-
to let you know.
No, their funds may be in this institution but the institution has funds invested in the
Oh, I
market.
see what you're saying.
And so or it'll be like, oh, I'm in mutual funds. I'm not in stocks. And I'll say,
Mm.
well, do you know what mutual funds are built on? They're built on stocks. That's what, so, but I remember my dad talking about, like, in that regard, you got to have money to make money,
Yeah.
there were, and that, yeah, the reality was that you had people that when things collapsed, they bought everything cheap
Mm.
and they ended up wealth gap was a lot bigger after that
Mm.
because they scooped in and got things for a steal.
Well,
Yeah.
we put money into the stocks and just turned to, like, Lisa couldn't tell you what our stocks are doing. I check them, but I'm not like I'm just letting it ride because I'm taking those long.
Mm.
I'm not doing penny stocks. I'm
want-
not doing day to day trading.
I want to confess to you
Oh,
that
oh,
I
that's
want to
good.
confess to you that
Dear listener.
it was like the year 2000, 2001. Anyhow, the stock market had gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Qualcomm, and then it just, and I mean, really, we just, if you look at the little,
Yeah.
you'll see the big giant,
Mhm.
and that year, now I was pastoring, and I'm saying this, I wasn't sitting there. But I had I had a laptop at the time, and I could get on the TD Waterhouse, and I probably owned $600 of stocks. Okay.
Oh, slow down there, fella.
Yeah.
There's this
At
kid.
but I would be like, if this one gets, because I was enjoying it as like, oh, if this one gets down to whatever, I'm gonna. But I was focused on my job. I can honestly say with the Lord, I was focused on my job, doing my work. But at the end of the year, because I didn't, when I filled out my taxes, I didn't list anything about all my stock purchase and whatnot.
Mm.
I got a thing from the IRS saying that I owed like $16,000 in taxes because I had sold. I think I had sold like $101,000 of stock. Now, I only had $500, but I would buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. And with that $500, well, anyhow, for the next 3 days, I had to tediously go through each, because all they knew was what I sold. They didn't know what I bought it for. So I had to go through each purchase and fill it all out. And you know, it took me 3 days of accounting. When I was done, I had made $71 that year. So I didn't have to pay the tax.
Oh, gee.
But it taught me a lesson of,
Wow.
you spent, here you were doing this like, day
Yeah.
trading on the side, and you made $71.
Yeah.
Good for you. I mean, you made money.
Yeah.
You made $71. Let's look at the positives.
That'll barely buy you at Eddie V. Hey.
Yeah, but it taught me a lesson of like,
Well,
even though I was focused on what I was supposed to be doing, I was only periodically looking.
yeah,
I had to be
it's
like,
okay.
stop. For me,
Yeah.
I had to go. Just,
Well, I mean, again, mine's worse because I was horse gambling back in the day,
Oh.
and I had to.
that's
stop
another
cold turkey.
episode. We're gonna do
Wow.
Bill's criminal life.
It wasn't a criminal life, and I talked about it with Greg one time.
Didn't quit cold turkey.
Bill,
cold
we-
turkey.
Tell me about
we're
that.
almost an hour here.
No, we're not.
Okay, I think
Horse
Horse. I have the time in front of
Okay.
me,
racing.
and
gambling.
now people get to see how we deal with this. It's all well and good.
Yeah.
We can end up. I want to go back to what Vince says. Don't worry about the money you have on earth besides pay your bills, which we talked about on
Pay your
Right.
bills.
on the
and
end of the
save a little
world
bit of
on the end
extra.
of the world episode.
And there is nothing, I'll let you be the last word, Bill, but
Oh,
there is
you don't have-
nothing more valuable on earth than contentment,
Correct.
than being content. There's people that have contentment that don't have nearly as much as others.
Mhm.
And I could say that, one of the things that for you, Bill, that I appreciated is I remember you going through a difficult time,
Yeah.
and you were, hey, the Lord's got me, and I was, I'm,
Yeah. Now I can
Good
eat
for
it
you.
Eddie V's. Thanks,
yeah,
buddy.
now you can eat it, Eddie
Eddie V's.
Eddie
I've
Vetcher.
only
Is
used
it Eddie Vetcher?
Eddie Vedder.
Better. Oh, better.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm so impressed by that. I gotta say, that was great.
Gold star.
It could be Eddie Van Halen. It could be Eddie,
Okay.
but it's Eddie V's. It's by the Cherry Hill Mall.
Okay.
You've probably passed it.
He's never been there.
You've never been to the Cherry Hill Mall. You've
Wow,
never passed it on
Eddie
38.
V's. He's never been to Eddie V.
Well, now I got to take him to Eddie V's.
You
Wait,
gotta take him to
is-
Eddie V's.
Is it near Maggiano's?
It is. It's right by the
Okay.
gym.
I've been to Maggiano's.
Well, that's delicious too.
Good
Yeah.
Italian food.
Kitchen Consigliere.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce
Italiano.
Consigliere?
it? Consigliere. Like Tom Hagen.
Oh,
Yeah, Tom Hagen. My consigliere.
Consigliere. Kitchen
Tom,
Consigliere.
you're
We-
out.
We went there.
Tom, you're out. You're not a wartime consigliere.
Yeah,
That's from the
we,
movie.
we went.
Mm.
We went to that in college.
Movie.
week.
What? Hey.
Father.
Oh, I've never seen it. I've seen bits and pieces. I haven't watched it.
Oh, my
Ah,
Michael, do you deny Satan? I do. I mean,
So spend your money on getting some movies.
It's pretty good. What I've seen so far through your acting. Thank you.
It is. It's
you
amazing.
don't need a movie. I'll just do the scenes for you.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great. No, but we had that kitchen.
Yeah.
We went there. That was the
Good.
time.
Well, you got the final word, Bill.
My final word is subscribe, like, do all that fun stuff. That's all I got.
All right.
All
Katrina,
right.
you have the final word.
Yeah.
You say goodbye.
Goodbye.